welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to Waitersservesstyle, serving you your dose of fashion, beauty, and lifestyle. I'm Crystal Waiters, and girl, I do all of the things. I'm a stylist, makeup artist, photographer, model. Simply put, I'm a fashion and beauty enthusiast. And if fashion and beauty is something that you love as much as I do, consider joining the family. We are growing rapidly on all platforms, but we still need you to join the family. So please make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at Waitersservesstyle. And also please follow my blog at Waitersservesstyle.com for a more in-depth look on how to make your wardrobe work better for you. All right, now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, let's get into the look of the day. Bars. All right, today's look, we're just doing something simple and casual. Working from home, filming content, in and out of meetings on Zoom. I just want something chill and easy to put on where I didn't have to fuss with it, but still cute and fashionable. And I got this dress from Shein.com. If you have not watched my recent Shein haul, please make sure you do. I'll link it below. I didn't pick this up in that particular haul, but I love this dress. It comes past the knee. If you've been following me, I'm part of the tall girl gang. I stand at 6 feet tall, and this dress comes way past my knees. And it's oversized, still very comfortable. I love the fit. And I even ran some errands in this today, and I paired it with just some simple slides, white slides, and an oversized patent clutch. So let me know what you guys think of this. And if it's still available, I'll link it below. All right, let's get into the video. Okay, for today's video, we are discussing how to identify and also curb or help with your shopping addiction. And I would like to shout out Miss Tashira from Politics and Fashion. After watching her video, I was inspired to create my own video related to this topic for my audience. So I will link her video below. She is just a dope influencer based here in the DMV area. Just very beautiful, fashionable, and yeah, please definitely make sure you check out all things related to politics and fashion. Now, if you guys been following me for a while, you know that by trade, I'm a licensed therapist, and my specialty is actually in the field of addictions. I've been in the field for 15 years, and although I'm not working full-time as a therapist anymore, I only work part-time as a therapist, I still am connected to the field. So this is my area of expertise, and I thought it would be a good idea to create a video around this topic. Now, first we have to identify what addiction is. Addiction is an obsessive compulsive disorder that causes you to want or do something over and over again. Now, simply put, that's not the actual definition, but for the sake of this video, we'll go with that definition. Now, if you are someone who has been struggling with a shopping addiction and it has impacted multiple areas of your life in ways by which it's causing you to forego on your responsibilities, or causing you to not be able to maintain a life that you should be living, simply put, the first thing to do is identify if that's the case, and the second thing to do is definitely seek professional help. Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to monitor our language because addiction is such a strong word. Is actually a diagnosable word. It is a word by which identifies a disease, a chronic disease, something that is develops and can be progressive over time if it's not treated. So we want to tailor and curb our language in terms of something being a problem versus an addiction. So if you are someone who has an addiction to shopping and it has negatively impacted multiple areas of your life, such as your finances, such as your family life, even your health, if you are putting that above those things, please definitely seek professional help by seeking a therapist. And if you are looking for help in that area, definitely let me know. I personally will not be able to help you in terms of therapy, but I can help you identify a therapist that can assist you with that. Now, if you are someone who has or have had a problem with shopping, this is definitely the video for you. Now, coming from someone who absolutely loves shopping, I love all things about shopping. I love creating from shopping. I love just the thrill I get from it. Now, in the past, I've had some issues with shopping, but now at this stage of my life, especially now breaking into the influencer world, I have been able to identify ways to curb my shopping habit and make sure that I'm not accumulating more than I'm producing. So everything that I accumulate, I make sure I produce something with it, whether it's just for the sheer enjoyment of wearing the items or producing content. And the more that I consume, the more I give away. So if you are following me, if you've been rocking with me, I will randomly hit people up on Instagram or via email and ask you your size. If we're the same size, I may have a whole load of clothes for you in the trunk of my car. So at this stage again in my life, I've been able to identify when I need to, curb back, and also when I need to dive in. So take it from me, if you're not in this space, make sure you have a practical approach to shopping. I'll say that. Now, someone like me who is an influencer, a model, a stylist, who literally has developed a brand around fashion, you might not want to tailor what it is that I do to what it is that versus what you do. And what I mean by that is, consider your lifestyle. Let's start there. Consider your lifestyle. If you are someone who has a corporate 9-to-5 job, or you're a mom, or you're a stay-at-home mom, consider your lifestyle. If you're not someone who is just genuinely into fashion, or someone who is an influencer, you might not need to accumulate so much content related to fashion. And with that being said, Tashira brought this up in her video, you might want to be mindful of consuming so much advertisements in terms of fashion, beauty, or whatever the case. So if you are receiving emails, if you're inundated with a lot of information on social media, you might want to take the initiative to kind of curb that back and make sure that you are buying pieces that fit your lifestyle. Now, for me, again, I'm an influencer, I'm a stylist, I'm a makeup artist. So this is something that I do, and I also enjoy doing, and I love doing. So you might not necessarily want to glean from me in that aspect. If you are, however, someone who loves it just for the love of it, and that's your thing, then definitely keep rocking with me. Keep rocking with me in general. But be mindful of the lifestyle that you have. So I would say that's my first tip. Okay, now, you hear this a lot. Serotonin, dopamine, neurotransmitters, and all of that. And I'm briefly going to touch on this. But again, if you are someone who identifies as having a significant issue that could possibly be an addiction, please definitely make sure you seek professional help. But identify what serotonin and dopamine do in the body. Now, serotonin is a neurotransmitter in the brain that literally regulates every or multiple areas in our life. Our mood, how we sleep, how we function. And if there's a dip in our serotonin levels, we can develop things such as depression, anxiety, and then the third one, an obsessive compulsive disorder such as an addiction. So identify the gaps in your life. If you are someone who is in a depressive state, I won't necessarily say depression, clinical depression has to be diagnosed, but if you are constantly in a depressive state, or if you're someone who constantly struggles with anxiety, make sure that those areas of your lives are being taken care of, such as are you getting enough sleep? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? You hear those things a lot, but they do play a huge factor in how our brain functions and how our body functions. So on the flip side, serotonin versus dopamine. Dopamine is that system in the body, that chemical in the body that releases the pleasure in our reward system. And the way that we develop dopamine naturally is through things such as music, such as being around family and friends, exercising, eating well. All of those things play a huge part in how we feel in our mood. I'm actually paying attention to it in my own personal life. I'm working from home. I'm not moving my body as much, so I've taken the initiative to make a conscious effort to work out daily without fail, and it shifts my mood considerably. In addition to that, make sure that you are monitoring what you eat. A high consumption of processed food and sugar can also cause a dip in serotonin and also causes you to warp your dopamine system, meaning that you are receiving dopamine in a way by which that is not natural. Same way with shopping. Shopping can also warp your dopamine system, meaning that you are seeking pleasure from something that you constantly have to do that can potentially affect area of your life, mainly your finances. So make sure that you're paying attention to those things. I know that's kind of super deep for such a quote unquote superficial topic, but it's very important that you monitor those things, because if not, you won't be able to overcome this problem. You'll always revert back to this space, and the idea of this video is to help you to get out of that space. So this is a little bit of the psychology behind it. Again, make sure that if you are someone who is really struggling and identify shopping as an addiction, definitely seek professional help. But hopefully my explanation kind of gives you a framework by which how shopping can affect us if we don't pay attention to those things that causes those gaps or low levels of those chemicals in our brain and our bodies that we should naturally be doing in the first place. So, okay, on to my next point. If you see me looking down, I'm actually looking at my notes to make sure I'm staying on track. All right, moving right along. Okay, my next point. Consider a dopamine fast. This is something that I researched the end of last year, beginning of this year. Consider a dopamine fast, and what that is depriving yourself temporarily of things that increase your dopamine intake, such as social media, such as shopping, such as eating out, and replacing them with things that you actually feel like you need to do, whether that's reading more, praying, exercising. I actually did this a couple of times. I'm actually looking to do it again soon, and it really helped. I did a dopamine fast for 48 hours, turning off my phone, turning off all email notifications, refraining from social media, listening to music, all of those things that gives me pleasure, definitely shopping. I turned them off for 48 hours and increased the things that I know I need to do but don't necessarily do naturally, such as reading, such as exercising. I pray all the time, but definitely being more intentional about my prayers and doing those things that will benefit me in the long run, and slowly adding back those other things. So consider a dopamine fast. I will link an article below that kind of explains what dopamine fasting is and the benefits of it. But I found it beneficial, and it's something that I'm going to try to incorporate in my wellness routine here on out. So consider a dopamine fast to help you with your shopping. Now, in addition to a dopamine fast, consider a no spend. Yes, consider going 1 month without spending any money on clothes, shoes, or makeup. Most people do this at the top of the year, but I think you should do it regularly. Every other month. I know my cousin Derek has been incorporating this into his lifestyle, where he does every other month. And I think the past 2 or 3 months, he's just been consistent with it. Consider a no spend, where you go a whole month without spending any money on shoes, clothes, makeup, accessories, and then really identifying, okay, do I really need these things? Because what happens, and especially when I do this, it forces me to really think about, when I start buying again, do I really need this? Because I definitely went 30 or 30 plus days without it. I don't need any of this stuff. It really puts you into the minimalist mindset. Again, most people like to do this at the top of the year, but I would suggest doing it every other month, every 3 months, every season. Now for me, I think I'm going to try to do it, do 2 months on, 2 months off, and then 2 months on, because I'm in a space where I'm transitioning from one place to another. I'm moving really, really soon, and I just don't want to have so much stuff. I want to be able to enjoy the stuff that I have, and right now I'm in a space where I can't see all of the stuff that I have. So consider a no spend more frequently than at the top of the year when people are doing resolutions. All right, moving right along. Okay, if you've been rocking with me, you know in every one of my tips videos like this, I always say this. Because this is probably the most important one. Assess your wardrobe. See what it is that you have. More often than not, people buy stuff without even looking at what they have. I am guilty of this. I try my best to assess my wardrobe regularly, but again, I'm in a space where I can't see my wardrobe as a whole. That's also a tip within a tip. Create a space. Hopefully you have space where you can organize your clothes and shoes, where you can see actually what you have. Sometimes we have so much stuff that we can't even see or enjoy what we have. But definitely assess your wardrobe from top to bottom. My rules for assessing wardrobes is making sure that if you don't absolutely love it, if you haven't worn it within a year and you cannot fit it, without question, I think you should get rid of it. The reason why I say those 3 things, because if you don't absolutely love it, you're not going to reach for it, and you probably haven't reached for it in a year, right? And if you haven't reached for it in a year, there's a good chance you probably can't fit it. So, without question, make sure you assess your wardrobe on a regular basis. I would say season to season. I do it more regularly than that, just for the simple nature of what I do in terms of influencing. But make sure you assess your wardrobe and have a way by which you are able to eliminate things in your closet. Now, if you have trouble getting rid of stuff, come see me. I am the queen of tossing. The reason why I'm a queen of tossing and purging is because I come from a mother who has a strong hoarding spirit, holds on to things way longer than she should. I love you, Mom. But if you are someone that's having difficulty letting go of things such as clothes and shoes, you may want to reconsider or maybe dig a little deeper if that's not tied to something else, psychological. But definitely assess your wardrobe. I will say it, scream from the mountaintops. Look to see what you have, because if you don't, it makes no sense to continue shopping if you don't know what you have. All right, moving right along. All right, next up, find inspiration. As we are coming to the end of summer, entering into fall, and definitely coming to what is considered Fashion Month, the month of September, where Fashion Week is just right around the corner from New York, Paris, Milan, all of the fashionable places throughout the world. Find inspiration. Brands, designers, runway shows, this is the perfect time to gain inspiration on new trends that are coming up, where you can find inspiration on creating new looks. And in addition to just finding inspiration from runway looks, also find inspiration wherever you go. Pinterest is a very good tool if you are looking to, revamp your style. If you're looking to amp up your style, find inspiration on Pinterest. Platforms such as this, Waitersservesstyle, Instagram, social media, the things of that nature can help you in this sense. Find the inspiration and recreate looks. I promise you, the looks that you're seeing have been recreated, and the looks that you the looks that you will create from those looks will be recreated from someone else. Put your spin to it. For me, I actually had this conversation with a couple of coworkers the other day. For me, I have to have edge in every one of my looks. I'm not a girly girl by any means. I know I love a full face of makeup and, the full glam, but by nature, I am an extreme tomboy. So all of my looks have to have a level of edge. Hence the reason I rock a buzz cut. So paired with a flirty dress or some fabulous earrings, it still gives me that juxtaposition of edgy versus sweet. So all of my looks that I recreate will always have that crystal touch because of how I rock my hair and my aesthetic overall. So recreate looks, gain inspiration. When people tell me or hit me up like, oh my gosh, I love how you put that together, I'm going to try it myself. That is probably one of the best compliments I could ever receive, because people are getting inspired from something that I put together. And I do the same thing. It gives me more joy than spending time in my closet creating looks. I used to do it every single weekend. I haven't been able to do it as much lately, but just getting back to that, throwing on some music, putting looks together, getting inspiration from all kinds of places. I used to love fashion magazines. I really need to get back into that, and just sitting down and just going through to see the latest trends and trying to recreate it. At the time, as a plus size tall girl, and even just as a tall girl in general, just putting my spin on it, I love doing that. Gaining inspiration from all types of people. If it's something that you like or want to recreate, screenshot it, shoot it, whatever the case, and put your own spin on it. All right? Last but certainly not least, and I think this can kind of curb any type of a problem or even addiction, is be very intentional with gratefulness. This is something that I'm learning to do more. Walking in contentment, being intentional about what I have versus what I don't have, and even going as far as to writing it down. When you see it on paper and when you have to regurgitate it through pen and paper, you will change your mindset from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance. And if you are someone like me who is a believer in Christ Jesus, He created us to live an abundant life, and He provided us with everything that we could ever possibly need, which is Him. So when you put yourself in that mindset of abundance and walking in that and being intentional about what you're grateful for, I promise you it will help you curb your addiction or your problem to anything, not just shopping. And I'm holding myself accountable in this video to be more intentional about that, to get out of that mindset and stop focusing so much on what I don't have versus what I do. Because I promise you, you have more than what you probably need, and you have more than most people. So practice gratefulness, being content, taking yourself from that consumer mindset, putting yourself in that producing mindset. That's something that I really believe will be the catalyst into, curbing or eliminating even your problem with shopping and or your shopping addiction. So hopefully these tips help. Sorry I was kind of all over the place, but this is something that I wanted to do on the whim. I really didn't have time to plan it out. Hopefully you found these tips helpful. If you did, please comment below. Please make sure you're following me on all platforms at Waitersservesstyle. And I think that's it. All right, guys. Be well and be blessed. Take care. Bye.